This podcast is supported by MIDI Health. Are you in midlife, feeling dismissed, unheard, or just plain tired of the old healthcare system? You're not alone. For too long, women's serious midlife health issues have been trivialized, ignored, and met with a just deal with it attitude. Many of us have been made to feel ashamed or forgotten. In fact, even today, 75% of women seeking care for menopause and perimenopause issues are left entirely untreated. But here's the powerful truth. It's time for a change. It's time for MIDI. MIDI is not just a healthcare provider. It's a women's telehealth clinic, founded and supported by world-class leaders in women's health. What sets MIDI apart? We are the only women's telehealth brand covered by major insurance companies, making high-quality expert care accessible and affordable. Our clinicians provide one-on-one, face-to-face consultations where they truly listen to your unique needs. We offer a full range of holistic, data-driven solutions, from hormonal therapies and weight loss protocols to lifestyle coaching and preventative health guidance. This isn't one-size-fits-all care. This is care uniquely tailored for you. At MIDI, you will join our patients who feel seen, heard, and prioritized. You will find that our mission is clear: to help all women thrive in midlife, giving them access to the health care they deserve. Because we believe midlife isn't the middle at all. It is the beginning of your second act. Ready to feel your best and write your second act script? Visit joinmidi.com today to book your personalized insurance-covered virtual visit. That's joinmidi.com. MIDI, the care women deserve.
Emotionally unavailable.
Okay, well, Mama ain't got no fancy intro like you do, so we're just gonna jump right in. I'm so
All right.
excited. I've literally been looking forward to this so much. I'm so happy. And I feel like it was like really well timed. I don't know, I just do. But anyway, I'm so glad to have you. Okay, so I met you on your show, Retrieving
Mhm.
Sanity. But the thing is like as close as I feel to you, just through like a soul connection, I really don't know shit about your story. Not that much. I mean, I know some. I know enough to know why you're doing what you do. But I
Mhm.
want to, if it's okay, I wanted to start with like your backstory. I know there's just a lot. So whatever you're
Mhm.
comfortable with sharing. And listen, I know we're watching all of this shit about how to give a succinct intro and blah, 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 blah. I don't give a shit about that. So you
Yeah.
just let your heart lead where you wanna go, okay? So I wanna, know about you more.
Fair enough. And just thank you for having me on your show because it was a blast having you on, and it's been awesome having these conversations in between recordings and stuff. And like you said, we got a soul connection going, and it's just one of those things that's like whenever we vibe with someone, we just know, and
Yeah.
it's really good to have someone like that in my corner, because my background, like how far back do you want to go? I guess
Man,
because
whatever
that's kind of
whatever
the
whatever you want. Let's think. Well, okay, can we start with I always if people are willing, I always wanna know what your childhood was like. Like, where are
okay.
you in the birth order? What are your parents like? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. I don't mind talking about that, and it's honestly kind of like what you were saying. It's probably timed really well, in a weird way because I just got disowned by my parents. So,
Okay, great. I love that for you.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
um.
No, it
s-
see, I'm so glad that you said this because we have grown closer since the time
mhm.
you scheduled this, and
Mhm.
we've both had so much shit happen.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm like, "Oh, it was very cosmic." Whenever I looked to see who was coming up in the next couple of weeks, I was like, "Wow, he scheduled that so long ago, and it couldn't have been more perfect."
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but somehow the recordings just line up with everything that's either going on or shit that I'm going through my head, and it's like, "Oh, hey, this actually answers a lot of questions."
Every
Uh,
time, right?
so
Every
yeah.
time. Yeah, I love that, I love that.
Yeah, but, like, my childhood was at first glance, it was always one of those, like, it wasn't bad, but now that I'm in my healing journey and I'm looking back on a lot of things, I'm like, "Oh, damn, there was a lot of emotional
There was
abuse,
some shit.
neglect." Yeah, there's some
Yeah.
shit, and it's one of those things that I'm not trying to, like, drag my parents through the mud or anything,
Sure.
it's just my story as I've learned and grown, it's changed a little bit, and it's not so
Yes.
much that the objective truth has changed, it's that my perception of it has changed, and that's kind of the part that I think kinda got me disowned a little bit is because like, I'm sitting
Yeah.
here trying to stand up for myself finally, and that was the thing is that, uh, I am the middle child, so
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Me too. Me too.
I'm the middle child, I'm the only son, and so
Only daughter.
nice. Okay, so we got some kind of weird connection going on right there.
Mhm.
But my mom, she always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, and she wanted to have a punk rock skater drummer boy of sorts, right? And so
Hilarious. Okay, okay. I'm getting the vibe. Okay.
Yeah, and so it's kind of weird because, like, growing up, I can remember a lot of really young things that, like, most people don't remember being 3 years old, and I remember that, and
Mhm.
so there were times that my parents would get into fights a whole lot. There was one time that, because I had an older and younger sister, they were playing dress up, and so what does a sibling do? They play dress up with them, and I got in a
Yeah.
lot of trouble for that, and so,
Oh, that's
this is
interesting. From your
mhm,
mom too, or just your dad?
from my father,
Okay, okay. Yeah, well, I'm
yeah,
not surprised. Yeah. How old are you
yeah,
again?
33,
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
yeah, so, but that's kinda things that that was really the turning point, I think, after that, because I remember I was in bed trying to sleep and stuff, and I heard them arguing about me, and that's kind of where everything started of going like, maybe it'd be better if I didn't exist. Maybe if I wasn't
Yeah.
here, mom wouldn't be getting in trouble, and then I could actually do something and stuff like that. And so
Mhm.
after that, it got worse, without me really even kinda noticing it because, I mean, that's what I had to do to kinda survive and just feel okay,
Yeah.
but one of the things is too is that, like, growing up, I was a "picky eater," quote, unquote, right?
Okay.
Because I would eat something and it would mess me up, and being young, I didn't know how to describe that. It was just, I don't like how it makes me feel, like, I
Yeah.
don't like it. And so, growing up, it was always I'm a picky eater, and then in
You're,
high
like, fucking
school
lactose intolerant and gluten,
yeah,
sick, and they're like, "Fucking eat the cheeseburger and macaroni and cheese. Shut your
uh-huh,
mouth."
yeah, pretty much, and
Wow.
so my mother turns out to be, she has celiac, and so yeah, and so, in high school, I started getting, some weird chest pains that sent me into, pain-induced panic attacks and landed me in the hospital a few times, and I went through, like, 3 months of constant testing to, like, figure out what was causing this chest pain because we're like, "If it's the heart, really gotta make sure that it's not the heart," and so on, but after, a biopsy of my, esophagus,
Oh,
they found
shit.
that yeah, they found that my eosinophil count was through the roof, and so I had, eosinophilic esophagitis. I probably said that wrong, but
What the fuck
so
is it?
so the white blood cells that are responsible for allergies and parasitic attacks thought that something was going on in my esophagus, and
So
so it would cause
autoimmune.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it would start to spasm my esophagus, and because of that and all the nerves in your chest are kind of intertwined,
Yep.
and it felt like I was having a heart attack, and so that's why we freaked out about it. But then after we figured out that it was, that, they were like, "All right, well, what foods are you allergic to?" So we went and got an allergy test, and I'm allergic to a lot of stuff. Like, my rule of
Yeah.
thumb is if it grows, I probably shouldn't eat it, but that's the thing is that
Really?
yeah, name something real quick.
Spinach?
Yeah, uh,
Wow.
yeah, but,
Wow.
like,
How the fuck do you even get nutrients?
I'm mostly a carnivore and stick to
Okay.
red meat and chicken and stuff, but,
Okay.
like, all nuts, all melons, shellfish, and stuff like that, so just out the roof,
And
but,
is it the type where, like, you can't even use the same cooking materials?
well, that's kind of the thing is that It kinda, sort of, and so it doesn't really necessarily close up my throat whenever I get certain allergens in me, but it can definitely screw up my digestive tract like no other.
Yes.
So, growing up, I loved watermelon, but watermelon did not like me, and so
Yeah.
I would sit there and I would eat a slice or 2, and then about 45 minutes later, it felt like someone was stabbing me in my gut and twisting the knife around for about 2
Oh
to
my
3 hours.
Yeah, I know that
Um
feeling, and now that I'm, like, having so many digestive, slash other stomach stuff just through grief, I'm picturing that you had internalized so much shit when we're making the mind-body connection now, and so
Mhm,
we're learning autoimmune diseases a lot of times initiate through stress and our
hmm,
stress responses. And so I'm just picturing that all of these things that you internalized as a child, which is so sad that this is what we do as humans, but that is what we do. You're laying in
mhm,
bed hearing a fight and literally already taking on the fundamentally at my core, I'm a fuck up narrative.
mhm,
And that's Guys, this is what I want you to hear. That's not parents' fault all the time. You know what I mean? Like, you're
yeah,
not even saying that. But this is how the programming happens and why we as adult children now are saying, hey, I just need to share what my experience was. If you could just shut the fuck up and allow me to share it. And then say, wow, did not understand that that was having that impact on you. I'm sorry. We're not
mhm,
saying you're a piece of shit. We're saying, "Hey, human shit happened, and then my human response happened, and then now here we are." But I bet you so much uh, not that we make ourselves sick, blah, 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 blah. I don't wanna hear it today, so don't nobody email me about this, please. But, like, I do think there was a connection there. And then also, you're having these very real symptoms, and you're, like, compounding the "I'm a fundamental piece of shit" narrative that had grown so early on through
mhm.
no fault of your own. It makes me so sad, Keegan K. Go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't even put those 2 dots together until you said that, so thanks for that because it kinda makes me wonder, like, if I can really change that core belief if my body will follow as well. So, I don't know, but
I
I
mean, I don't know
mean
that you're gonna be not allergic, but I
yeah,
do think that I I know you will
mhm,
see an ease in so many symptoms when you regulate through going back and changing a belief. I'm having to do this shit in real time because my shit's just flaring just
mm,
through grief, you know?
mhm,
But, like, I go and do a lot of comforting of those versions of me that took on those subconscious patterns and beliefs about myself. Like the
mhm.
not enough thing is all the fucking time, but the at my core, I am bad. I am a fundamental piece of shit and just might be fundamentally unlovable. When I
Mhm,
recognized that, it's easier for me to say, "Oh, that's what's coming up right now," which the unlovable thing is not as often as it used to be. It's usually just the not enough,
mhm.
and I don't wanna need people because I'm enough, but I'm not enough, but I am, but I'm not like, there's this whole little weird thing that
Yeah,
happens there. But, yes, I do believe you will see a significant reduction in symptoms when you change the beliefs that create it because autoimmune specifically, they are starting to see this connection.
huh. That's really interesting, and I just wish you nothing but the best on your healing journey as well
Thank you.
because I can't imagine the grief journey that you're on, so just thank you for being here and helping everyone out too, because that
Thank
takes a
you.
lot. Yeah.
Thanks. I mean, I can see how on the outside that you would think that, but it's like, it's so helpful for me,
Yeah.
like, first of all, I love connective conversations. It's literally the thing that just, like, makes my whole day
Mhm.
like, amazing, you know? But
Yeah.
also, like, just feeling like, oh, all you have to do is share, like, your shit and it helps someone else? Well, shit, yeah, let's do that, you know? Like, I wanna share anyway, so I get more of an excuse to talk and, "Oh, it's helping people? Cool, okay, great, love that for us."
Yeah, 2 birds with 1 stone, for real.
Exactly, exactly. Okay, so you hit high school, you realize
Mhm,
you have this crazy ass shit, and then
mhm.
what?
Well, to go back a little bit further, I kinda time skipped a little, on
Okay.
accident just to connect the dots, make them solid.
Yeah.
But to go back with the whole fundamental "I'm a piece of shit" or "I don't deserve love" kind of thing, also fell into the religious aspect of being
Oh.
grown up because we were a Catholic household, or
Oh,
kinda,
okay.
sort of, and so that thought of
Catholic guilt.
original sin, yeah.
Mhm.
So original sin says I'm born human and therefore I'm still fucked up. And so deep on the inside, there's that little piece of me that was always like, no, I'm not. Like, but why
'Cause
does
you're
everyone keep.
only worthy in his image,
Mhm.
but then what? Yeah.
Yeah, and so there was a whole lot of dissonance or cognitive dissonance, growing up, and so it's like
So
I
you did question early.
Yeah, super early, super, super
Okay.
early, and that was the
Okay.
things that growing up, they always said that I would have these really adult conversations with adults and stuff, and they were like, "Where is he getting this?" Like, and everything. It's because I'm trying to, like, figure myself out and make sense of the world because
Mhm.
something doesn't really line up for me, and that was the thing, I'm getting told I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve this and that, but somewhere inside it was like, "No, I do deserve that because I am human, and so what the hell gives?" And then so I was always really big into nature, whenever whenever I was 6 to 7 years old, we moved down to Houston for a little while, and, uh, in one of the schools that we were at, every recess, I had found a hole in a fence, and I would go past it and just go play in the woods, and I found a little pond, and I watched all these tadpoles grow up and stuff, and so
You
I
little
was
mess.
just yeah, I was just a little like, I was too hyperactive for everyone, I was always in trouble for one thing or another, and so I learned how to really hold all my shit in and
Yeah,
not
'cause
let
you were too
anyone know.
much. Yeah,
Mhm,
your too much narrative developed so early.
mhm, yeah, and
Mhm.
so, like, y whenever you're also growing up and it's like, I wasn't allowed to feel any emotions or especially express them, and if I
Yes.
expressed how I was feeling or what I was thinking, then I was talking back or
You're being
disrespectful.
disrespectful.
Mhm.
Yes.
And it's
Yeah.
like, "No, I'm just sitting here trying to let y'all know what is going on," and
I'm also
that's th
trying to gain clarity sometimes.
yeah,
Like, if I'm asking a question, it's not because I fucking wanna, like, get into an argument with you, it's because I need to know why I'm in trouble again.
exactly, and that's the thing is that I'm trying to make sense of things, and just
Mhm.
by trying to understand, getting in trouble for that made me go, "Okay, well, I can't really understand what is going on whenever parents are punk rockers growing up and stuff," and so it's like
Right.
and now they're sitting here and giving the same narrative to me, and it's like, I don't understand why this happened, and so I'm just trying to make sense of it, and that's bad for some reason. So, a part of me was like, it just reinforced that whole "I'm just not worth it," and
Yeah.
it that was my narrative, and I didn't realize that growing up, I based my identity in the pain, and so
Yeah.
it was one of those things that I didn't know how to express it. I couldn't express it even if I wanted to,
'Cause you weren't met with
and
safety. Yeah.
yeah, and so it was one of those things that whenever let's see, I was 15 the first time I got drunk, but that was
Okay.
the thing too is that, growing up, like, being in Texas, it's like, "Oh, hey, you want a sip of my margarita or something?" And it's like, "Okay, cool, why not?" And then that was weird because it made the tummy feel nice and warm and fuzzy, and it made me kind of feel a little different, and I kinda liked that. And then,
Mhm.
growing up, first time getting drunk was about 15, and then first time trying weed was about 17, 18, I think, and then after that, it just went straight to alcohol because, like, it wasn't an everyday thing at first, it was that slow
Never is.
decline. Yeah, it was that
Yeah, yeah,
it was that,
yeah.
like, is this week's been too crazy," and like, "Hey, guys, let's have some fun, whatnot," and everyone else could kind of set their bottles down or whatnot and go do their thing, and I'm always sitting there like, "No, I need more," because I didn't realize I was trying to escape reality. I was trying to
Uh-huh.
escape my own body, and that doesn't work. I learned that the hard way. Um,
No.
and so, like, in high school, I got hung up on this one girl, and of course, I'm just now figuring out that because she also had a similar growing up, and we were both kind of on a similar path of sorts, it also made me trauma bond really hard, and then at the same time, whenever that all didn't work, I just got hung up on it because that was the same thing as love that my parents gave me, is that emotionally unavail
Traditional,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, well, you were mirrors for one another because you weren't able to give any more than you were able to receive.
Yeah. Oof.
Wow.
Yeah. And so it was just one of those things where it was like, how do I get past all this pain? Because I thought that love was this, and that's what my parents were giving me. And so, like, obviously, I'm just not trying hard enough. I'm not doing what my due diligence. And
Yeah, well, you're a
so,
fuck up. Yeah.
yeah,
You
yeah.
can't even do this right.
Yeah, and
Yes.
so it just kind of followed me around, and it was always like, "Well, why should I even try? Why should I even try?" And, like, what was it?
Enter the avoidant. Yep.
Yep, and so going back a little bit to, like, 10 years old, my mom had sent me something that so a couple years ago, my mom sent me some pictures of some, like, things I did in, like, elementary school, and it was like, "Whenever I'm grown up, I wanna be a dentist so I can be rich so I can buy homeless people houses?" And it's like
Yeah.
but it's like, how does a 10-year-old learn that kind of stuff? And so it's kind of like I've always wanted to be the fixer, but at the same time, I just wanted to feel like I was worth a damn. And that was the thing is that I was raised with that service attitude. I was raised with
Performative though, like,
Mhm,
yes, service, because it could be well, because here's the deal, why I said yes, service is because I wanna like, I know at your core and in your heart, you are a giver and you are a nurturer, like, I know
mhm,
that. But I think you and I both did this thing where it was like, "Okay, I've learned that I have to perform and achieve for any sort of love or validation or belonging. How
mhm,
can I take my natural instincts of giving and whatever with the need to perform and achieve and, get all the love that I am craving? Oh, I will run around and love everyone in the way that I'm begging to be loved. I
yep.
wouldn't be able to receive it even if they did it because at this point I hate myself. But and then we create all this expectation of, okay, so if I do this, you're gonna do this, and then when they don't, betrayal, 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 betrayal,
Mhm,
and then that is when so many of us just go, I don't think I'm even gonna try anymore. Like,
yeah,
we just shut that thing off because I can't really get my hopes up one more fucking time that I'm gonna do this and then you're gonna do this. I mean, this is
mhm,
where all of our avoidant tendencies come from. Well, because we do think that if we look at our pain, it's gonna hurt as bad as the very first time we felt it. So we try to numb and escape and avoid,
mhm,
but then also all of those expectations that we've ever created for the world around us because what our parents did teach us is if I do this, then you do this, and then we're happy.
mhm,
Because parents really take on that, they just are living through their own fear and their own shame and their own pain and their own wounding. But what they're doing is they're like this whole like gratitude thing, like I do all this for you and this is how you show me thanks.
guilt
And
trip.
it teaches you like, "Oh, so then if I do this, people do need to reciprocate in the way that I want them to."
Mhm. Yeah, and that was the thing too is that, like, growing up, we were subjected to that a whole bunch, guilt trips,
Mhm.
and so now looking back, I'm, like, able to say that my grandmother on my mom's side, she was the outcast of her siblings and stuff, so she developed a victim mentality, and then that went to my mom hardcore, and then that went to me hardcore, and so, like, I don't know how much my mother understands that she has that, and I
Yeah, it's
can't
so
even bring it
hard to
to her
see
because
it. Yeah.
it's attacking her identity in a sense, and
Yeah,
so
and I couldn't see it. Like,
mhm.
oh, Keegan, my victim shit was bad. I mean, here's the deal. I wouldn't diagnose myself as a narcissist even in my worst of days, but I had about 9 out of 10 of the traits, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie about it. I mean, it was bad. It was so
Mhm,
bad, and I couldn't see that at all because I had this I'm a survivor. I
Mhm.
turn pain into purpose. Like I was checking all the boxes on paper that you're
Mhm.
supposed to be able to check if you're a good person. Like if
Yeah.
you're doing this thing right, check, check, check. I mean, all of them, all
Uh-huh.
of them. And so I had people say that sometimes, like, you just make yourself a victim. And I'm like, I it would hurt me and it would make me mad, but it was, like, so easy to just cut them off and never talk to them again because I was like,
Mhm.
"You don't know shit, okay?" Like, I mean, you just I someone said it on here one day, the ego doesn't allow you to see yourself, and so I
Nope.
was like, "Okay, thank you for that, I feel so seen right now," because, like,
Yep.
sometimes I still have to forgive myself for how much I did not see and how
Mhm.
fucking aware I thought I was. Like, it's so annoying. I'm like, "I'm so self-aware." Bitch, you didn't know
Uh-huh.
shit. You didn't know shit. I
Mhm.
mean, I could identify some things, but, like, understanding it, like, in some sort of logical sense didn't help me to understand why it was there and what to do with it, you know?
Yeah. And, that's the thing too is that, my mother always said that she's just a misfit, she's just misunderstood, and I'm like, "Yeah, you have no idea." And she's like, "And I'm tired of always walking on eggshells," and I'm like, "You have no idea, like,
And
what
you're
you're telling."
creating the eggshells, bitch.
Yeah.
Yes, again, but that's the whole thing.
Uh-huh.
Everything that we project, that's what it is. Like,
Mhm.
I've said that. I found myself saying that to someone like, "Man, I just have to walk on eggshells, blah, blah, blah." And thankfully, this was, like, beginning of healing, so I was
Mhm.
my consciousness was expanding a bit, and I was like, "Wait, wait, wait a second. Wait a second.
Mhm.
I could see how they feel like they have to walk on eggshells around me,
Mhm.
actually. So let me just tuck
Yep.
that in a little bit."
Yeah. And I heard that same saying in a slightly different way in the rooms, and it was self can't reveal self to self. And so I was like, ah, damn. Because, as I was
It's too
growing up,
painful, yeah.
yeah, as I was growing up, I was always trying to figure out who I am, and so,
Yes.
around 12, 13 is whenever I started, getting in trouble because I was asking too much about the church and religion, and so I was like, "Okay, well, Google's a friend," and so that's how I came across, witchcraft and paganism, and so I was like, "Oh, hey, this answers a lot of different questions, and it also doesn't tell me that I'm bad for just existing, and I can do something about, well, anything really," and so then I started my pagan path then, and I couldn't really sit there and tell my parents that, but it was weird because my dad always told me a bunch of different things about pagans and how Catholicism and all that came about, and how the holidays are just something that were converted to help to convert pagans and this blah 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 blah. And so it was like one of those things where I didn't know how I couldn't even like tell them like, hey, this is what I believe and practice, and y'all think that it's also kind of wrong there too. So it's like, well, shit, I'm just kind of screwed all over the place because I found
No,
something that
because
actually worked.
exactly. That's what a weird paradigm because you could have even reached enlightenment at such a young age with who you are, just intrinsically, but because of the separation between you and the people around you, that just grew wider, which
Yeah.
means your shame grew deeper, and
Mm-hmm.
you couldn't again, "I'm not enough. I can't
Yeah.
be me. I eat all the things." It just sucks because like, you found some real truths for yourself.
Yeah, and, like, that's the thing too, is that I'm growing up and, again, not knowing how to do anything about it, and so the only thing I did know was to escape reality, to numb the feelings because they're not good for me. I couldn't sit there and do anything, and so after about 18, 19 is whenever I started drinking almost, like, every day, and then it really didn't start probably until 20, I'd say, but it was still pretty bad. And so 21 after that was downhill. And I wanted so much to be able to talk to different people about this kind of thing, but being in Texas, again, that kind of thing is like, oh, get
Yep,
away. And it's like,
yep,
ah, shit. So it's like my environment never really wanted me to be me.
yeah.
And so I never knew how to do that because I was always, like you were saying before, I was waiting for, well, I don't know if I was waiting for permission. I don't know if I wasn't allowing myself to feel, so on and so forth. But eventually, I wound up getting married really young, and then uh, later on, of course, shit hits fan, and then well, get divorced, and then from there, went on. And here's the other silly thing: during that whole escapade of just being an alcoholic, I knew that I had a problem. I was like, okay, I can't operate normally without alcohol in my system. I can't feel and think proper, blah blah blah. So what do I do? And then I looked it up and it was like, oh hey, you're probably dependent on alcohol, and if you quit cold turkey, you could die. And so I was like, oh, I know, I'll just manage my drinking and that'll work. That didn't work. And so cue for a few more years of that, and then it was weird because it was also a deliberate slow suicide,
Yeah.
because it was like, well, I'm going to at least try to enjoy the time that I'm here and I can't do anything about it. And so eventually, I went and got help, and during the medically assisted supervised detox, uh, I went. I had delirium tremens hit, and they found me seizing on the floor, and I woke
Ugh.
up in the hospital 4 days later. And so after that, had a near-death experience and whatnot, and woke up with the clearest head ever, like, "Holy shit." And, like, I tried ripping out my own catheter and everything. I signed against medical advice forms because I was like, "Y'all saved my life, but I need something other than a hospital." But they told me where I was going to go. My higher powers were like, "Hey, we got a place for you." And I was like, "Cool." And they were like, "But you're not gonna like it." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And they're like, it's not going to be your cup of tea, but you said you're ready to do anything." And I was like, yeah, I'm ready at this point. Like, I'm just ready to, like, be me, to live. And so one of my cousins that I hadn't spoke to in months, he heard about what happened and reached out, and he was like, "Hey, I'm in this program and I think that it would do you really well." And so, uh, I was like, "Cool, tell me about it." And he was like, "Well, first of all, it's Christian rehab." And I was like, "Okay, I mean, I make sure. I mean, I said I was going to do anything." And then he was like, "But it's a military rehab of sorts." And I was like, "Oh, what?" And so Christian military rehab, and I was like, sure." Like, I grew up in Boy Scouts, and my dad was ROTC and stuff, and so it was very like military-esque almost in my
Yes.
house. And so it wasn't something I was like not not against, but also, like, not looking forward to. And then he
Yeah.
said, "But the kicker is it's 9 months." And I was like, "Shit." So, uh, wound up actually going down there. Is a free rehab because I was like, "I can't afford 9 months," but it's a free rehab. So I was like, "You know what? I said I was ready to do whatever, so we're going." Thankfully, my parents did drive me down and drop me off, and I've been in the DFW ever since. And while I was in
Wow.
rehab, that's whenever my higher powers were like, "Oh, hey, by the way, you're going to start a podcast once you're out." And I was like, "What's a podcast?" And I had no idea. I wasn't a fan of podcasts. Like, some of the guys I worked with in the past, they would tell me that they were listening to podcasts versus music. And I was like, "We're in construction. Why are you listening to podcasts? You're supposed to be listening to music."
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and then it just was like, "Nope, you're going to start it." And so I started up Retrieving Sanity to kind of share my story. And that's the thing too, is that I don't know why I started it, how it was really going, but it's just turned into something
You just
amazing that,
knew.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but
That's so
damn.
funny because, I mean, that's exactly how my show has evolved too, but I think because we had the right people put in our paths on our shows, you know what
Mhm.
I mean? Like,
Yep.
that gave us another sense of direction, like, just keeping us on the path, kinda being a little compass, like, the right people at the
Mhm.
right time, and you learn so fucking much.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing is I've learned so much, and being on
Mhm.
other people's show, because truly, I had a major breakthrough being on someone else's show just from a phrase that she used. She was like, "Oh, yeah, well, I mean, you were protecting yourself," and we were talking about me pushing well, I didn't view it that way. We were talking about me feeling as if people hadn't shown up for me at all when my dad died, when I was
Ooh.
15, but when she said that, I was like, "Fuck, that is the beginning of when I started pushing everyone away, isn't it?" Like,
Ooh.
I had a complete aha moment, paradigm shift just from
Mhm.
that. So, yeah. Okay, wait. So then are you saying, like, how long have you been in recovery?
So in September, it'll be 5 years.
Okay, okay. Wow. I think I thought you were a little further along than that. Not for in I'm only saying that just for like a timeline thing.
Mhm.
Um, so then how long have you had your show?
A little less than. So my recovery date is 9/21/21,
Oh,
and,
wow.
the podcast started at the January 15th of 23, I think, because I graduated June 26th of 22, and I didn't start until that next year because I was in sober living, and that was a whole hell of experience
Oh,
of
yeah.
itself, and so but, yeah, I started it the first episode dropped, January 15th, 2023, so it's been going for,
Wow.
what, almost 3 full years? Actually, it's been 3 full years, holy shit.
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Oh, you just had your
ugh,
3 years.
I didn't
That's
even realize it.
cool. Yeah. I love that. Well, and I'm picturing you in a military-based Christian rehab for 9 months. But in some ways, I can see how that would be so good for you because you got to your fortitude really happens when you are resisting things that you should resist, but leaning into things that you need to lean into.
Mhm,
So I could see that. But I also think I'm only highlighting this for the audience because, when I started to learn about myself, I was like, "Shit, we're all the same. We're all the same. We have these same narratives." You know what I mean? Like, it was my first time of, like, really tapping into oneness because
uh-huh,
I was like, "Wait a second," because I hear somebody say something, and I'm like, "I know what that is." So, I can see how, particularly once you found a belief system and that whole separation really the divide got bigger, I can see how a negativity bias was really sealed in concrete at that point and how you started to believe it was not safe to share and then it was not safe to feel at all and
mhm,
how your brain would have constantly confirmed that to you. So I think sometimes this can be the danger in exclusive spirituality without this human ass understanding of human emotions, where
mhm,
we bypass a little bit. But I can see how you're like, yeah, yeah, this woo woo shit really fits. But then it was almost like an autoimmune disease. Like it
mhm,
was the cure, but also the curse.
mhm,
And it really grew that divide and as I'm really unpacking more and more and more, because this seems to be like the lesson lately, again, well-timed conversation because I'm sure you see the posts that the clips I post, but what
mhm,
it, I'm using the phrase insides matching your outsides and outsides matching your insides. But what all that is that negativity confirmation bias, where my
mhm,
brain's going to look for all the ways to confirm this lie that I chose to believe to be safe at whatever point in my life. I really believe mine started, I mean, earlier than 15, but 15 is when it got sealed. When my dad died, that was it. Like
yeah,
everyone leaves was then like that was solidified like okay for real don't get close to anyone because no matter how hard you try people you can just come home from school one day and get told your dad overdosed in a Dairy Queen bathroom.
mm,
Like it's just I was so hyper vigilant about like who's next, who's next, who's next. Like that didn't leave forever. Like it took
yeah,
so long to not be I don't know that it's gone yet. I mean,
mhm,
truly. I mean, then just got confirmed because my fucking kid died. So it's
mm,
a thing that like is constantly there. So I
mhm,
can see where that happened with you, where like you're living in this belief that you can't share your shit with anyone. And so you're just internalizing, which just confirms this lie that you've been telling yourself over and over. So
mhm,
then you get into relationships with people who are not going to work out ever. It was
No.
never gonna work out, and your
No.
fucking body knew that when you entered into that relationship, but that's what it wanted so that it could confirm it to you that you're gonna be
Uh-huh.
fucking alone for the rest of your life. Everyone leaves.
Yep. Yeah, and I'm so glad that you made up that connection of the body trying to prove it and everything. Because whenever I was in rehab, it was the first time I had ever done therapy was in rehab, like, growing up, my parents were like, "Oh, we need to get you help and stuff," and so they sent me to a psychiatrist to pump me full of drugs, and I hate that, and so I got on Xanax for years, and it kinda helped, but that was the thing is that it also didn't.
Yeah,
And
Xanax is a
the
very specific use if it's gonna be therapeutic.
yeah, and so but the crazy thing was is that while I was in therapy, I was talking to, Lieutenant Kelly, my counselor, and she was going through a divorce at the same time, and so it's kinda weird because one of the things that I told her was, like, "I've not been able to yawn for, like, the past 5 years," and she was like, "Really?" And I was like, "Yeah, like, I'll start yawning, and then I finally figured it out is because I didn't feel safe enough, and so my body would just cut out the yawn as soon as it would be like that safe part where it's like, oh yeah, I'm letting everything go, closing my eyes and stuff. My body was like, nope, unsafe, and so it would cut it, and I was like, why can't I yawn? This is bullshit. But then whenever we were talking about the divorce and stuff, with hers as well, I was like, I think I figured out why I was going for the person that I married and stuff. And she's like, well, why is that? I was like, because I saw aspects of my father in her that I was trying to please, and I couldn't please the aspects in him. So what makes me think I could do the same thing with her? And she was like, oh, I was doing that with my husband. And I was like, it's so weird how we try to both confirm our truth, quote unquote, but at the same time, we're trying to override it at the same time. And
Well, we're
it's
not enough, so we gotta be
uh-huh.
enough. We gotta figure out how to be enough.
Yep. And
Well,
so
and you feeling like you couldn't, be you. This is I don't know how you seem much more chill with speaking your beliefs
Oh, yeah.
out loud now, even in
Uh-huh.
Texas, but, like, as an Okie, when I started my show, I really didn't even talk about astrology, if you can imagine,
Yeah.
and I did not talk about spirituality. I didn't say I do tarot, any of that shit, because I was so afraid of rejection. And then
Mhm.
as I leaned more into the idea of authenticity and alignment and whatever, it was like, let them reject you because the right people like, I just talked about this with a gal I had on the other day, but she's like, "Well, that's what polarity is, though. When they reject you, that means the opposite side of the pole gets to come. Like, you have
Mhm.
to be polarizing so that the right people come." But I was lying to myself because it didn't feel safe to share those beliefs. And so you were fucking lying too, just
Yeah.
nonstop, over and over. I can't be myself. Now, I'm not saying that if you had shared your beliefs with your parents at a young age, that they weren't going to be like, oh my God, bitch, you would have had the holy water. You would have had some exorcism. Let's not play. Let's not play. I can definitely see. But I think that was the beginning, really, of you shoving everything down because so much of your identity really is wrapped up in those beliefs. I mean, that was the beginning of you forming an identity truly. I
Mhm.
mean, it's hard for me to see how it couldn't be because I found myself when I found those beliefs too, because I was like, oh, fuck, I feel like I understand what the fuck. I felt like I got handed a blueprint and I was like, damn, dude, I get this shit now. Right on.
Uh-huh.
See, Jake, I didn't even have to do mushrooms. But anyway, so I can see how you would have started to develop an identity, but how it just didn't feel safe, like, nothing felt safe. But
Yeah.
then look, by the time you're whatever years old, your fucking esophagus is trying to kill you, you know? Because you're just I
Mhm.
mean, it's just such a metaphor for what was happening internally, like, emotionally, like, that your esophagus was doing that. It's wild to me because right there, like, your throat chakra in general, like, that's just fucking nuts to me.
Yeah, and I mean, the more because I haven't even really thought about it in years, because it hasn't really bothered me too much since like I started feeling safe. I felt like I can express myself. I feel like this, that, and other, and
Mhm.
so it's really strange too because, like you said, whenever I was in therapy, I had to read a book that changed my life, and it was called Constructive Wallowing.
Oh.
How to beat bad feelings by having them. And I was like, this is counterintuitive. Like, what the fuck is this? This is bullshit. Why are you making me read this? And she was like, trust me.
Yes.
And
Yes,
s-
I've never heard of that, but that sounds
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, so in that, Tina Gilbertson, she has the truth technique, so it's TRUTH. And so I was like, what is this? And it was the first book that I've ever read where, like, in the foreword, I started crying and had to put it down. And it was like, okay, we're going to definitely read this book, but I need to take my time with it. And so
Yeah,
I
this is really
internalized that
real.
book. Yeah, so
Mhm.
like I'm a quick reader, but that took me like a month and a half to read, and it's a short book, because I would read it and then I'd put it down and I'd work on myself and then I'd reread it, then read a little bit more and so on and so forth. But in there is where I learned that beliefs are tied to emotions, And so it's like, oh, so if I want to change a belief, I have to change the emotion attached to it, kind of thing. But, the truth technique is tell yourself what's going on, like, tell yourself what emotion you're feeling. Um, let's see, I know I said internalized it, but I forgot because I've had a lot of concussions as well.
Yeah,
So let's
that's
see,
fine.
tell yourself, what you're feeling, realize the emotion, then uncover self-criticism, uh man, I'm gonna have to look it up here in a second.
That's alright,
But
yeah. I
that
mean, we
was
get the we get a
yeah.
general understanding
Yeah,
of
that
what it
was where I
is.
learned emotional intelligence, because,
Yes.
growing up, it was only happy, angry, hungry, and horny. Ha! And that does not really leave a lot of room for everything else. I don't know. You have a feeling, Will, I'm sure. You've seen one. I didn't know there were that many emotions. And
No, god damn it. No, this is the thing. Me neither, and I remember whatever like, I've had to stop even attempting to name a feeling and go for the wound because
Ooh.
all of those can fit into different wounding, so I'm like, is it I know my wounds really well, so I know betrayal and neglect are always gonna be the ones that are hit, and then rejection's easy to understand, so I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I that hit my rejection space," and then, "Oh, okay, yeah, that was probably some abandonment," but figuring out the betrayal and neglect, that was a little trickier, but I used to be like, I mean, because, perfectionist tendencies, so, like, if I'm gonna identify the emotion, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna really like, see, is it disappointment? Is it frustration? Hmm.
Mhm.
For real, I'm so serious, to where it finally that's why I told you about the book that changed my life when I was on your show, but that's
Mhm.
why that fucking book did it for me because I was like, I don't have to sit and try to, disseminate between fucking disappointed and frustrated, and so I just now I don't even have to ask now because it's second nature, like, I know what they feel like so much, but I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's really bringing up some neglect. That's really bringing up some neglect." Like, every
Mhm.
fucking time my husband goes out of town, it's
Ugh.
ripped wide open because,
Oh.
your neglect wound really is tied to that not enough narrative, and so, as much work as I've done on the not enough, I'm in a vulnerable situation right now. So, like, he goes to Florida with an impending snowstorm, and I was like, "It's fine, everything's fine," and guess what happened first night he was gone? The fucking dryer went out again,
Oh,
and I was like,
no.
"Of course it did. Of course it did." And just that neglect space gets so big because of the all of the times where we just felt that weight of the world on our shoulders and, like, I'm on an island all by myself, nobody to help me carry this. Now I can
Mhm.
definitely see where I took the truth of that and bastardized it to fit my life to keep me safe, just used it as a barrier between me and everyone else. And I'm gonna make a whole, like, segment about this on, um, my next solo, but the thing I just had a little breakthrough yesterday. I was really proud of myself because he surprised me and sent, a text saying, "I'm gonna come home early, I'll be home early tomorrow morning," and obviously, internally, I was like, "Thank you, Jesus." Like, I'm so
Mhm.
fucking happy. But I also immediately following the relief, I was mad, and I
Mm.
wanted to be a bitch about it, like, really bad. Like, I
Huh.
wanted to be like, "Why? Why are you co I didn't need you to come home." You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and also find a way, like, "You didn't do that for me, so it doesn't matter." You know, like,
Uh-huh.
all these things. And I was sitting there because 'cause I've learned that, like, this is one of the biggest barriers I ever placed is between me and intimate partners, so I'm
Mhm.
still working through it a lot. Like, I learn new shit about myself every day, but I was like, "Do you believe that if you express relief and, like, admitting that, like, you do need this man, does that make you worse or less than? Or, you know, like, and
Mhm.
is it not safe to tell him you're relieved that he's coming home?" And so I
Yeah.
was like, "Fucking tell him you're relieved he's coming home." So I made myself be like, "I'm so happy. I'm so happy you're coming home." And then, like, all morning when he's texting like, "Yo, landed here," I'm like, "Thank you, I'm so happy, I can't wait to see you." But, like, I this is a trip he takes every year for work, and
Mhm.
Keegan, I've really
Mm.
shown my ass in the past, okay? Like, I've really shown my ass. And so when he'd be, like, on the way home from it, I'm just building layers between us because 'cause I'm resentful and I'm pissed and I'm whatever.
Mhm.
By the way, I have the option to go on this trip with him.
Ah.
So, I could and
Mhm.
have, but it is kind of a logistical nightmare that gets a little overwhelming because I mean,
Mm.
3 kids trying to figure out who's gonna do what, you know what I mean? Like, it was like,
Yeah.
it doesn't feel worth it.
Mhm.
But I create this chaos around this trip every year. I mean, chaos.
Huh.
And so I was noticing, like, past times, like, when he was coming, I was like, "Okay, I have definitely been like, there was, like, a warming up period every time he would come home because I had just stonewalled around the whole situation to try
Oh.
to cope because I couldn't separate what was happening, and I didn't understand it at all. So
Mhm.
now the complete energy shift that happened even today when I woke up to the, "Hey, I'm on the plane, da 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 da," and I expressed, like, "I'm so happy," totally different, and I feel freer now just from allowing myself to actually admit, like, I am so relieved because I was really worried he was gonna get stuck away, like, for 4 days, and as much as I'm trying not to future forecast, I don't wanna fucking lose power without my husband here, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So,
Yeah.
anyway, I just like, it is amazing the ways that we can lie to ourselves and keep
Mhm.
ourselves stuck,
Yeah.
and I definitely did that. But to your point about emotions, I think one of the reasons that we didn't know there were so many is because we were programmed that you are supposed to ignore those things.
Yep.
Like, that's how you become a productive member of society,
Yep.
is to fucking pretend like everything's fine when it's not.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's that false stoicism, it's,
Yes.
it's like,
The
"Oh, I'm going to be
bypassing.
stoic. I'm going to not have anything bother me ever," and on the inside, I'm actually dying,
Every
and
Virgo ever, yeah.
yeah, and that's the thing is that, like, I wasn't able to figure out a lot of my inners and outers a whole lot until I met my wife now, and that's things that she's given me that room to be, the room to express, the room to
Yes.
say what I have on my mind without sitting there going, "Oh, you're bad for even thinking that," because
Yes.
it's one of those
Yes.
things too is growing up, it's if I thought it, I might as well have done it, and so I can't have bad thoughts, otherwise I'm a bad person, but to me,
And is
it's
that
like,
from the religious shit?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
because
Okay, yeah, me too.
and so that but that's the thing is that I've now come to the realization that, no, it actually makes me a better person to have the bad thoughts and not feed that wolf.
Thank you. Thank you. I've been trying to talk to my 23-year-old about intrusive thoughts
Mhm.
and, like, how they are always the exact opposite of what your true character is, but
Yep.
then the second that shame is triggered and you
Mhm.
let it infiltrate and it bogs you down, you gotta get it out. But even, like, with grief and normal stuff, I mean, you can have some pretty crazy thoughts with
Yeah.
grief. Like
Uh-huh.
your brain really can misfire and just have the weirdest shit. Like I keep talking about this and I know it makes people uncomfortable, but Lisa Marie Presley kept her dead kid in her house for like months after he killed himself.
I did
Yeah. I
not.
mean, like she had special permission. She did it legally. Like you're
Mhm.
allowed to do that. And
Huh.
she got some fucking special ass air conditioner that kept the fucking room a certain temperature. And I swear to God, I was like judging her so hardcore about that when I learned about it. Like, God damn, that's crazy, whatever. And
Mhm.
even when Jake very first died, that wasn't a thought. But then one day, like it hits me like I haven't seen my baby in like 3 weeks. And I was like, I definitely understand Lisa Marie Presley now. Like
Yeah.
I'm so glad I didn't even have the notion to do
Mhm.
that whenever it first happened because I would fucking do some crazy shit like that. But it's like I had to go talk about it with my family because I was kind of obsessing over it for not that long because I know, like, you've thought about it a little too much. Let's go talk about it. But
Uh-huh.
even normal grief shit, like, get it out, get it out, get it
Mhm.
out, because the silence just fosters bacteria.
Yeah.
It's like, think. I'm saying this more for the audience's sake, but I want people to think about any sort of negative thought or a thought that I don't wanna say negative, but a thought that makes you feel uncomfortable. Any
Mhm.
thought that makes you feel uncomfortable, think of it as you putting, like, a potato in a damp, dark spot and all those sprouts and the bacteria and all the shit that happens, that's what you're doing,
Mhm.
is creating that internally. The more you internalize your thoughts because we have a fucking belief that we are our thoughts and
Yeah.
that we are our emotions.
Nope.
So we're not,
Yep.
newsflash, but, like, until you reach that point, understand. That's why I all I can, like, really say sometimes is your brain is a liar, but
Mhm.
it's because it wants you to believe you are this.
Yep.
You are not that. You are perfectly and wonderfully made. You are
Mhm.
exactly who you're supposed to be.
Mhm.
Who you're supposed to be is gonna have some shit ass thoughts sometimes,
Yeah.
no matter what. Keegan, when's the
Uh-huh.
last time you had some shit ass thoughts?
Probably this morning.
Yes! Exactly. It's all about using the tools. That's what I keep trying to say to people is like, brother, like
Mhm.
whenever the first time I saw my clients after returning back to work after Jake, they're like, "Are you okay?" Like real timid,
Mhm.
whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Listen, I'll be damned if those tools I've been trying to get you to use actually fucking work." Like that's the thing is I'm not some superior being who has more strength than somebody else. I have
Mm-mm.
some really good fucking tools and I have some very good people around me. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like the second I need something like sometimes I think Jake, is like, "Hey, go talk to her." You know what I mean? But, like, the right thing is said and the right person comes along at the right moment every fucking time. I have very good people in my life, and I am grateful to me because I allow them to show up for me.
Mm.
So, like but I have shit ass thoughts. I mean,
Mhm.
don't anybody think for 1 second there hasn't been plenty of times where I've been like, "Huh, yeah, dying doesn't seem that bad because I get to see Jake again. I don't have
Mhm.
any desire to take my own life, none. But my brain does go there sometimes for a
Yeah.
second. And I allow
Mhm.
it. I allow it because that's a natural thought to have
Mhm.
when you're grieving. And then I move forward because I'm using the tools and I'm
Yeah.
committed to the tools.
Yeah, and I'm so glad you brought that up, and I again, just my deepest condolences on that whole front because it's holy shit. But I'm glad that you're bringing that up because whenever we have bad thoughts or bad thoughts, quote unquote,
Right,
it's
right.
that I have to shame myself out of it, and
Exactly.
that's shame doesn't fucking work. Like I have you spoke to Emma Lyons yet? Yes, okay,
Yeah,
so I don't have to go any further, but for the audience out there, like, Emma Lyons will break your brain whenever it comes to shame, because it
yeah.
is not what we think it was, or at least myself, because I always thought that shame was something to, keep people, like, get them "good," quote, unquote, but
Well,
no,
that's what
shame is actually
religion taught us.
yeah, but shame is just there to keep you in someone else's safety box, and
Yep.
fuck that, I don't belong in that box, so it but that's things that if I'm shaming myself for just feeling or having thoughts, then that's telling the same story to myself that got me fucked up in the first place. So I can't do
Absolutely.
that.
That's
And
exactly right. That's exactly right. And I think too, I mean, I have to say, like, I've said this before, but like the truth is, my oldest child, I intentionally used shame as a parenting tool because
mm,
that's what was done to me and it worked, quote unquote.
mhm.
So I was like, "Oh, this is what I literally thought that's what you were supposed to do."
Ugh.
Literally thought, "Oh," and it's not like I was like, "You're a piece of shit," but oddly enough,
Mhm.
that's how he felt
Mhm.
because
Ah.
that's what shame does.
Yeah.
And so, we still work through that, all the time, but,
Mhm.
uh, this is how programming and repeating patterns works, and so
Yeah.
that's what we're trying to do is disrupt the natural rhythm of cycles and patterns by being like, "Hey, I know better, I do better, I teach better, we
Mhm.
do better," and just kinda, like, sharing a light on the collective.
Mhm. Yeah, and it takes time to do that too, and I've been so programmed by technology and everything else that I press a button and I expect something to happen, and it doesn't work whenever it comes to healing. It doesn't work whenever it comes to reversing that programming because it takes literal
Yes.
time. And it's hard work, and I think that's why a lot of
It is.
people look for that quick fix. "Ooh, I can do this," and it numbs the pain for a little bit, and that numb feels like whatever pain is uncomfortable is gone, but newsflash, it only gets worse. Like you said, it's that potato in a dark, damp closet or whatever. It's just going to get more potatoes, and you're going to be like, "Shit, now I gotta make vodka with all this shit." And
Right, exactly. Well, and also fuck, I lost my thought.
it's okay. Shame.
Yeah. Oh, you said, "And it's hard work."
Mhm.
And it is, but for me, it's not near as hard as all the things I put myself through trying not to do the work.
Yeah.
You
Uh-huh.
know?
Yeah.
Like, that's the
Yeah.
thing, is it is does it hurt to feel?
Mhm.
Yeah, it
Mhm.
does, but for, like, 90 seconds.
Yes.
Each
Exactly.
time. 90 seconds instead of like, can you remember one of those mornings you woke up after a bender and how physically awful you felt,
Mhm.
and then how much emotional damage was done because of all the shame you piled on yourself on top of how you felt physically?
Mhm.
I don't have a single fucking day like that now.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
have a day like that now. I don't
Yep.
have a day where I'm shaming the shit out of myself and feeling so behind my peers and, all the things. Do I have plenty of times where I'm comparing myself and,
Hey.
like, my shit's not as good as their shit. Yes, I'm a human. I do listen, I'm not saying I don't do like any of the shit I used to do. All the
Mhm.
time I do. But like I know how to fix it now. And it's just about how to take the next step in love and in joy and not
Mhm.
like reversing your progress every time you do take a step forward because you think you set yourself back. I mean, I think you probably experienced this too, where you judge the shit out of your healing and you're like, I'm supposed to know better than this because I have the right information now. Okay, babe, you can know better and still be hungry and tired and, cuss someone out,
Uh-huh.
Like, I,
Yep.
I lost my fucking mind last year on a customer service rep on the phone. I still believe she deserved it. I do. But it was because she was trying to fuck my schizophrenic brother out of his money, and I was
Oof.
scared because he was gonna end up back on the streets. He did
Ugh.
anyway, but I was
Aw.
trying really hard to, like, help, and she was being a giant cunt, and so I wasn't proud of my behavior at all, and also hurt my throat, like, I was screaming like a fucking banshee. It was
Damn.
nuts behavior I haven't seen from myself in a very, very long time.
Mhm.
Yeah, it still happens. You get me tired,
Yeah.
hungry, stressed, you're gonna see the very worst version of me. In the
Yep.
morning, I'm grumpy as fuck. Like, there's stuff like that all I won't even let my own kid come cuddle with me when she wants to cuddle if I'm in a bad mood. That's not nice, but, like, I'm human, so
Yeah.
none of this is us saying, like, we never do anything wrong and
Uh-uh.
we're Buddha walking this enlightened path.
Oh, hell
No,
no.
that's not it at all. We're just
Mm-mm.
saying, "Hey, these tools, they actually work, and our lives are really good."
Yeah. And that's the crazy thing, like getting into recovery, there's all those sayings around like it works if you work it. And I was like, what the hell is that supposed to even mean? And like looking at the 12 steps, whenever I first learned them, I was like, this is a spiritual like walk. Like this is how to do self-reflection and improve yourself without really beating yourself up. The only one that I would say is step 10 needs to have the addition of, and what did you do better this day that you're proud of, instead of what did you do today that you want to fix tomorrow kind of thing. But that's the thing, is that the tools are great. And like you said, there's an acronym I learned in the rooms, and it was HALT. Whenever I start feeling really weird, if I'm starting to feel not myself again, it's, am I hungry, am I angry, am I lonely, or am I tired? And
Yep.
if I can say yes to any one of those, I can fix that real quick, and then I can go on my day, and it's going to improve my mood. It's going to improve my performance with myself. And that's really the biggest thing that I've learned, is that, like, how do I treat myself? Because if I treat myself well, then I'm going to treat others even better than I would if I were to just sit there and beat myself up for silly little things. And I say silly because
Right.
it's, uh, in hindsight, the silly is like, "Oh, that was nothing to be worried about," but in the moment, it is the fucking
It's very
biggest thing.
real. Sure,
Yeah.
sure. But
Mhm.
that's the point, is how do we take this mountain and reduce it to rubble when
Mhm.
that's really all it was to begin with? But to us in this moment, it was a crisis and catastrophe, and I keep trying to, like, impart, like, if you can notice yourself and witness yourself instead of living really in the nitty-gritty of something, and I'm saying that to highlight what you said. On the hungry and tired spectrum, that is very real for me, and you add the combination, lethal for me.
Yeah.
So, if I am aware of that when I wake
Mhm.
up and I'm in my body, so immediately I can tell my body's a little off. Shit, I'm so tired. Oh god, I have no energy. Now I'm hungry and I fucking skipped breakfast. If
Mhm.
I can notice those things, that when shit starts happening, I can immediately repel that energy and be like, Baby, I'm too tired for this bullshit. Versus living immersed in that experience and be like, why does this shit happen to me no matter how fucking hard I try? Blah, blah, blah. Not to say that doesn't still sometimes happen, but
Yep.
that's the difference in perspective, is if I'm
Mhm.
going, oh, I need a certain type of day today because I don't feel well when I'm tired and hungry. So, like,
Mhm.
I'm going to try to curate my day around that instead of letting all of these things curate my experience. And I just
Yeah.
think that's the difference, is like looking at it and going, I'm too tired for that bullshit, instead of like, why? Because I'm way emotional, like way emotional in a very negative
Mm.
way when I'm tired and hungry. So, like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna cry over every fucking thing and feel very victimized by my circumstances, versus just like, "Damn, I'm tired, and that makes me violent that you just did that." You know what I mean? Like, and then I'm just gonna keep moving. I'm just gonna keep moving because none of it means shit. It just means I'm tired and can't handle shit right now. Okay.
Mhm.
I just think it's a way different experience when you're not resisting the thoughts that happen
Mm.
on those days, but you are going, "Huh, wonder why that wonder why I just thought that." Like,
Mhm.
and that's when I check in and I go, "Am I hungry? Am I tired? Like, do I need a
Yep.
shower? Do I need a nap? What do I need? Protein? Did
Uh-huh.
I have too much sugar? Oh, I did. And I've had more caffeine than I have water." Like, like, I go into fix it mode. I'm like, I'm a mechanic up in that bitch the second the shit starts, because I don't want to live like that anymore. That was my
Mhm.
entire existence before. So great that you highlighted that acronym, because that's all you have to do, literally, is check in with yourself and be like, "Shit,
Mhm.
something's gotta pop that head. My car's
Yeah.
needing some oil. Let's go see what's up." You
Yeah.
wouldn't drive your fucking car with the check engine light on and not do anything about it and then wonder why the fuck you threw a rod, you know?
Yeah.
Actually, some people would, and I have, but, that's fine, that's fine. But, like, afterwards, you wouldn't be like, "I had no idea why the rod threw because I just kept driving it when the check engine light came on. That's so weird."
Mhm.
You'd know, from now on,
Mhm.
when that light comes on, Imma be checking
Take it
that
to a
engine.
mechanic.
Imma check that engine. Imma do it. So
Yeah.
check your fucking engine, people. I've never used that car
Yeah.
analogy, but I'm real happy I did. I'm feeling pretty good about it. Well, I'm so sorry to keep you so long. Man, I fucking
Oh,
love
it's
you.
fine.
I'm so
I
happy to
fucking love
have
you
you.
too.
I knew it was gonna be great. I knew it. I've been seriously
Yeah.
looking forward to it. I love getting to talk to you. Tell us where we can find you.
So it's been an honor and a pleasure. And so again, thank you. And y'all can find me over at retrievingsanity.com. Also on YouTube at Retrieving Sanity, Facebook. And if you're in the Atlanta, Georgia area, then you can actually listen every Friday morning at 7 p.m. 7 a.m. Sorry. You don't do morning at evening. Some people do. But yeah, it's Retrieving Sanity is also on Reveal, the new streaming platform. So, yeah,
That's cool. I didn't know
yeah,
there's a new streaming platform.
yeah. It's it's still low-ish. Like I said, it's new. I just got signed on because of the radio, and they
Yeah,
had stuff. So I was like, sure, I'll give it a shot. And it's just there. I've got 8 episodes, I think, for people that are signed up for it, and then 3 that are free. So
that's
it's just one.
cool.
Yeah,
I'm
but,
proud of you.
thank you, and I'm proud of you too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We love each other, everyone.
Yeah. It's been
Well,
awesome.
this has been awesome. We'll have to schedule again so that we
Yeah.
can have regular little updates, 'cause,
Mhm.
I feel like they'll come at a well-timed place, you know?
That's for sure. Synchronicity is amazing, and
It
it
is.
happens whenever we allow it to happen.
Just like the rest of life. Yep,
Yep.
absolutely. Okay, I'm gonna press stop if you'll hang out for
Okay.
1 sec.
First.
Hey, make sure you've given the show a 5-star rating on whatever platform you're listening to if you haven't already. And check out my website, empoweredwithmelisahepner.org, or my link tree on Instagram at melissa.hepner to check out my latest offers or workshops. All right, that's it from me. So make sure that you check out the show notes for links. And until next time, let's all just keep swimming.
INDEPE and cut.